Hi guys, welcome to the Break Free podcast. My name is Rachel and I am joined by Jerrod Hardy today. So we're gonna walk through Break Free with Jerrod, and I'm excited for you to hear a story. So Jerrod and I met through Garrett, my husband, and him and Jerrod were Jerrod used to be with the police force of Fort Collins, so he'll tell you a little more about that. And I met him, and I knew this guy is so inspirational, and I cannot wait for you to hear his story. So tell everybody more about you.
Well, I appreciate it, and thank you for having me. So that's all true. I met Rachel and Garrett probably 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It's been a while, and it was interesting because as I met them, they were coming onto the police department, and I was looking to do something more in life. I just wasn't sure what it was. So in 2018, after 21 years, I just realized I had more to offer and more to do in my life. And I wasn't happy at police work anymore. It just wasn't fulfilling, and I wanted to see what I could do. So against the advice of financial advisors and my coworkers, and even up to the point where people were betting that I couldn't make it work, I left. I walked away. It's technically called a retirement, but by no means am I old enough to draw retirement. So it was a leap. It was a leap that I could replace my income, that I could find happiness, and that I could really do something that created purpose every day and that I was passionate about.
Yeah.
So I left, and I had made some business adventure. I own a gym, and I had some things in place, but I wasn't really sure what that year was going to look like. And now here we are in January of 2019, looking back for a year. It's been pretty phenomenal.
Yeah. I mean, it's been incredible to see what you've been able to do.
Yeah. And I think it just goes kind of what you're talking about, what we talked about before, breaking free and getting to the next level in your life. I couldn't do it being constrained by my current position and by the current habits I had every day. I had to break free and go out and allow myself new spaces, new relationships, to create new energy and to put myself in a place where I could really do what I felt I was supposed to be doing here. And one of the things that happened for me is recently a couple friends of mine lost their spouses, and they weren't much older than me, and they had all these dreams in life that they were gonna do, and then life happened and they never got to them. And that really hit with me. Andrea and I, our kids are just all about out of high school, so we're kind of in that next stage of life, and we really don't know what tomorrow brings. And I kind of just got to the point where I was like, okay, I'm making changes because I don't know that we even have tomorrow. So I'm not going to continue to put off these ideas for another day because I don't know.
Yeah. So what would you really say? I heard you talk about it a little bit. What does break free mean to you?
Break free means just that, breaking free of probably the greatest thing that limits most of us, and that's our own beliefs.
Okay.
Like breaking free of this is all I'm supposed to do, this is all I can do, right? Because we get comfortable, and when you get physically comfortable, sometimes those thoughts get even stronger because you have your necessities covered. You have your day-to-day covered. But somewhere deep inside, at least for me, I had dreams.
Yeah.
And I couldn't fulfill those dreams being restrained by my limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
So to me, it's getting rid of your limiting beliefs.
And
then probably the second biggest one is not listening to everybody else's limiting beliefs. Because if I would have done that, I wouldn't have changed anything. And I'd been comfortable, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be fulfilled. I
Right.
wouldn't be happy. I wouldn't be here sharing stories with you today.
Yeah.
Because I've literally been doing the same thing I've been doing for 20 years. And who wants to hear that? You know what I mean? Like there's not, I've been doing this for, right? So I had to break free of my own thoughts that were limiting me. And then I had to dismiss everybody else's and realize I don't need everybody else to see my dreams.
Yeah.
And I think too many of us like we know what we're capable of, we know it's out there, but we just listen to everybody else and we never act.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to have the regrets that come with not acting. I would rather have the lessons learned with failing because I took action than the regrets of coming with not knowing because I never tried.
Right. Oh, 1,000,000%. I mean, I tell everybody that I work with, I always say, my one hope is that when you get to the end of your life, whenever that is, that you will be happy with what you decided to do. You know, that you'll be excited about the life and the choices that you decided to make. And basically living a life with no regrets, right? You went for the things that you really wanted in life, not letting limiting beliefs hold you back from what your true potential.
Right.
So,
and I think far too many people do that. And there's that saying out there that the richest place on earth is the graveyard, because there's so many inventions that were never followed through, dreams that were never acted upon. And I really, raising my kids up till this point, you're kind of providing security and safety and make sure they have all their needs met. But as they get ready to leave the house, I thought one of the greatest things I could do for them was to show them that there's unlimited potential for all of us if you're willing to take risk and if you're willing to take some action.
Right.
And I didn't want them seeing their parents playing life safe forever and then they do that.
Yeah.
Like I want my kids to be adventurous because who knows, maybe one of them has the idea that cures cancer or does something amazing. But if they were always raised around me playing it safe and me not taking risk, it's hard for them to break that cycle. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's extremely powerful. And, being an example of that, because I'm a true believer that I'm no more special than anybody else.
Right. I agree. 100% for me, at least.
Yeah.
I think you're pretty special.
Well, but
I agree.
I feel that way about myself. And I'm like, I'll have people ask me, how have you done this? Or how have you done that? And man, I'm like, when I look at them, I'm like, it's in you too. Like you're capable of all these things. I am no more special than you. I've just chosen to, take the leap, to step out of fear, to take the chances, and we're all capable of that.
For sure. I think what it really boils down to is because I 100% agree, I'm not uniquely talented. I'm not overly gifted in any area, but I think what we have in common is we both listen to what we're supposed to be doing and where our passions take us and what our true purpose leads us to. We don't dismiss it.
Right.
And I think people that are at least more talented than me could reach greater good out there and do more, but they just won't listen to that. They dismiss it or they put it away because it's scary a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's that fear.
Yeah. Fear will get you all the time.
Which I understand because it's very, very uncomfortable. And people a lot of the time, until they get okay with that, I actually prefer to live in the uncomfortable place because I know that's where the good stuff is.
That's where your growth is.
Yes. And so I know if I'm uncomfortable, like this is good because there is something awesome coming. But for a lot of people, until they get to that place of realizing that, being in that uncomfortable place, whether it be in the gym working out, right? The minute their heart rate starts to push too hard, they start to feel their breath too much. Like they're like, whoa, I gotta pull back. It's the same thing in life, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I use that analogy all the time at the gym is until you start thinking about quitting, right? Because I want them to think about quitting. Until they get to the point where they start thinking about quitting, they're comfortable. That means they've already been there. Once we get to the point where we're starting to think like, oh my gosh, this is hard. Maybe I should quit. Now you're growing. Yeah. Because you got to that space you hadn't been before. And we're always looking to push that back. And I think that's a great analogy is when you feel uncomfortable in life, maybe that's what you should be doing instead of always running away from it.
Yeah. Yeah. And the power in that. All right. Okay. So through what you just, shared with breaking free, what brings you joy in life and how do you bring that joy to other people?
Yeah. What brings me joy in life is, and this sounds weird and it's been something I've been refining over this year on my own, is just truly being happy. I find joy when I'm happy, and I'm most happy when I'm around people that are also chasing their dreams and that are challenging the status quo of life and moving forward and giving back to others. And it took me a little while to figure that out, right? Like when I first left, I thought, okay, I got to make a certain amount of money. I want a certain amount of this or that. And then that's going to make me feel good and fulfilled. And then as I was achieving it, I was like, wait, I don't feel different.
Yeah.
I literally don't feel different. And then
Yeah.
I started thinking, and I started really diving in and thinking, and what really makes me complete is just being happy.
Yeah.
And with that, it's just being light kind of in life, not taking on all these problems, but seeing things that could potentially be problems as opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
Because life's never going to be easy, but we do have a choice in how we view it. I can either see it as a problem and an obstacle, and oh my gosh, it's going to be too hard, or I'm like, okay, cool, I get to learn something new because I got to figure out how to do this.
Yeah.
So to me, that's truly what brings me the most joy is just seeking happiness and all the things I get to do every day.
Yeah, I love that. It's so, the minute you said it, I was like, that's so simple. But
I am.
Does it need to be complicated? No.
But I think that's life. I think like just we're talking about like making these leaps. People overcomplicate taking risk in life. They overcomplicate relationships. They overcomplicate starting a business. Like honestly, just try it. Mm-hmm. Because until you get there, you're not even going to know what you're supposed to know, because you got to get there and make mistakes. You got to fail. You got to come up short. And then you're like, okay, yep, I learned this. Now I'm going to readjust. And then your success comes. Mm-hmm. But I think we're so conditioned to want that immediate success, to get everything's got to be lined up perfect. And I heard a great quote one time that perfect is the enemy of progress. Mm. Because if you and I are always trying to be perfect, we don't ever take action.
Yeah.
So then we never get anywhere because we're waiting for perfect and it doesn't happen.
Right. And that is why I'm so grateful I'm not a perfectionist.
Right. No, I agree.
Because, if you're waiting for things to be perfect, you'll be waiting the rest of your life. Seriously.
And you'll always be unhappy.
Yeah.
Like, how many things in your life have ever been perfect? Like, for me, none. Like, even getting married was a great day, and we've been married 21 years, and it's awesome. Our wedding wasn't perfect. Like, the kids got chicken pox from it. Like, there's so many. So I think when you're always trying to be perfect, one, you don't get anywhere, and two, you're almost always unhappy.
Yeah.
Because you're looking for what's wrong and all this instead of, okay, what did I do well? Let me fix this and we'll move forward. So,
yeah.
So the second part of your question, though, how do I share that?
Yeah.
Is I build communities.
Yeah.
Like I was fortunate. I started a podcast. I've done some workshops on kind of creating purpose in your life. I finished a book.
Yeah.
But again, it fulfills me. Like I'm around people instead of, I guess here's the best thing for me, or at least the way I look at it. Instead of going to my work and just getting randomly assigned people that I may or may not like, that I may or may not have interest with, to spend 10 hours a day, 40 hours a week for 21 years, which I did, I now have the opportunity to spend every day with the people I choose. And build my communities and then share stories like this and to hear their stories and to, challenge them a little bit. Oh, you've had this dream since you were teenagers. What are you doing to fulfill it? Let's put together some timelines. So to me, being able to create community and share their happiness is truly probably like the thing I'm most proud of. Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of joy in that.
It is. I think about and I think it comes with a shift of mindset a little bit that success isn't exclusive. Like if you're successful, it doesn't mean I can't have success. Yeah. Like there's success for both of us and there's success for everybody at this table and for all your listeners. We can all help each other become successful. And I think one of the things that separates people that are moving forward from those that kind of stay status quo is we see opportunities to work with other people, whereas a lot of other people see everybody else as a threat.
Right.
And even if you were successful by yourself, how boring would that be?
Yeah. Yeah, without a doubt. I think that holds a lot of people back.
For sure.
They're like, oh, well, there's already a million books out there. Yeah. Why would I ever write a book?
For
sure. Who's going to read my book? Right? Why would I start a podcast? Everybody has a podcast. Yeah. Why would I do this? Why would I do that? But the truth is that there's something out there for everybody.
Yeah.
There really is. There's room for everybody.
There is. And part of the reason there's room for everybody is because so many people are scared to even try. Unfortunately.
Right.
Well, we're talking about breaking free. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't break free because they don't even try.
Yeah.
Try. Just give it a shot. What's the worst that's going to happen? You're going to learn something about yourself.
Yeah. So what tips can you give them right now that they can implement into their life today?
First off, believe in yourself, right? Like, you've got to believe in yourself. Don't expect anybody else to believe in you until you believe in you.
Yeah.
And believe it's all possible. Second, put yourself in a group of other people that believe in themselves, right? I call it the circle of 5 in a lot of my talks. Like, you are the sum of the people you spend the most time with. So look at that group. Are they believers? Are they doers? Or are they naysayers and finger pointers and holding you back, right? So believe in yourself. Put yourself in a group of other believers and then take action.
Yeah.
Right. And don't be afraid of failing. Like, take action. You're going to stumble. You're going to come up short. It's not going to work out perfectly. Yeah. But you're going to learn a lesson that you cannot learn without trying.
Yeah.
Right. And I think both of us, we got a lot of different things we dabble in and we mess with. And at least for me, the best things I've learned have always come when I failed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you kind of get to the point, kind of like you were saying, where you look for uncomfortable. I kind of get excited when something doesn't work. Yeah. Because I'm like, okay, I got to tinker with this. Like, it's like kind of like the mechanic on the car. You got to mess with something. If everything worked all the time, honestly, that would be boring.
That would be boring.
And so that's what I would say. Believe in yourself, surround yourself with other believers, and then take action and fail as fast as you can so that you continue to grow. Okay.
I love that. Simple. But and totally doable. And something that you could really think about right now. So, all right. What's your favorite book?
Oh, gosh, my all-time favorite book. That's a good one. I'd probably have to say Extreme Ownership by Jocko.
Oh, okay.
Right. Simply.
Well, I haven't read that, but I do know who Jocko is.
I know Garrett's read it because I send him all the videos. You used to always tease me about, he's watching that video again. And I like that one because I think that book, at least for me, was the first time that I kind of got exposed to the excuses I was telling myself. Because it's all about extremely owning your life, and whatever problems there are your fault. Yeah. Like, literally, basically, the book could be summed up with everything is your fault. Yeah. And I think that was the first time I read it, and I really had to start taking a hard look at, if I wasn't where I wanted to be, that was my fault. Yeah. Yeah. So that's my favorite book.
Total self-awareness.
Well, yeah, you just can't put it anywhere else.
Yeah. Yep. And then favorite podcast?
Favorite podcast? Well, obviously, Breakthrough podcast is going to be good. Break Free podcast. Yep. That'll be a good one. I do have my own, the On Purpose podcast, which I like. And I'm just so happy with that community. It's amazing to have created that. And then as a consumer, probably Real AF with Andy Frisella.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why?
Do you know who he is? Because he is just straight raw and real. Okay. So he's the creator of First Form supplement company.
Oh, yeah.
He used to have MS CEO.
Yes,
and then
I do know
quit that one and started a new one. And it's just as politically incorrect. And it's not super refined, but it's just real. And I think sometimes everything's so sugar-coated or PC covered a lot of times that it's kind of fun just to listen to him and be like, it's a different way of looking at it, but it's kind of entertaining. Yeah, yeah. Awesome. I need to listen to that. I definitely know who he is. Oh, okay. He just relaunched a new one at the beginning of the year. Okay, cool. Yeah. All right. So hopefully he listens and he'll get a little shout out. Hey, there we go. Tell everybody about your book. The book, Extraordinary People in Ordinary Places. And I would tell you, it's available on Amazon. It is probably the most humbling project I've ever worked on in my life. And here's why. I told people in 2009, I remember the exact office we were sitting in, that I was going to write a book called Extraordinary People in Ordinary Places. It was going to be about the amazing people that entered my life at various stages, that came from ordinary backgrounds that would be easy to dismiss, but because they invested in me, they had an extraordinary role and they changed my life. I knew most of the people that were in the book at that time, and it literally took me 10 years to finish it because I put it off. I was scared, just like you said, who's going to read my book? Why would they care about my life? Who am I to write a book? That all these things, it took me 18 months when I started writing it to publish it.
Uh-huh.
So then that means it took me 7.5 years to get the courage to even take action.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to see it out now is very fulfilling, and it's humbling because the story is about part of my life, but what's more important to me is most of the people that played these roles are still alive. So I get to publicly thank them for even taking an interest in me.
Yeah.
And when I look at that book and I think, wow, like our kids on all the families mentioned in the book can read that and know that at one point in our life we made each other better.
Yeah.
That's
incredible. That's incredible.
Yeah, so it's humbling, and it's and contrary to what people believed, it's not only my family that reads it, it's doing well on Amazon. I think people, because the stories, each chapter has a story and what I learned from it, but then it also has questions for the reader to reflect on their own lives.
Yeah.
Because none of this is unique to me. I think maybe some of the names are, some of the situations, but the overall stories we can all pretty much relate to as far as overcoming challenges and the difficulties of growing up.
Yeah.
And to just see it, to like actually see it in a book is just crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, tell me about your podcast.
The On Purpose podcast, we put them out every Thursday, and it's literally about creating a purposeful life. And my partner and I, Ali, just go into a lot of different topics on all kinds of different aspects of living a purposeful life. And then there is reflections at the end of the podcast, and we have a great community that submits the responses via email. Some hit us up on social media, and then we do workshops from there.
Yeah.
People have come in. We've done 4-hour intensive finding your purpose workshops. So it's, like I said, it's just another way to share happiness with other people, and kind of that circle that we talked about. One of the tips is changing your circles a little bit. Now people come together because when they come to our workshops or they listen to our podcast, they know they're in a group of people that are going to take action, move forward.
Yeah.
So it inspires them to do it as well.
Yeah. It's amazing to watch, you start that podcast, and then now how much it's growing, and then to have created a community from it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, we just did the 44th episode last night, which will come out this Thursday. So yeah, it's 9 months in. Every week we show up.
It's only been 9 months.
Yeah.
It feels like
we launched it in March.
It's seriously, I feel like you've had that for probably a year and a half.
No, March. We launched it March. And that's the thing, like we're talking about take action. We started it with a laptop and 2 $40 headsets off Amazon. And, we've upgraded now because we do have a good community, but we weren't waiting for the perfect equipment, right? We just got into action. Yeah. And the first couple when I look back, I'm like, the content was pretty good, but these are awful. Like the sound is awful. We're talking over each other. But we wouldn't have learned that without even trying it.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, I think a good thing for everybody to remember is that, people, they love realness.
Yeah.
And they, attached onto that. Not that it's not, with nicer equipment, it's not the same, but it's still, people immediately attached onto it because they felt you guys being real, and they can connect to that.
When I think part of being real is we're not perfect.
Yes, exactly.
Right, we don't have perfect lighting. Sometimes one of us may not even be in the camera for a minute, right?
But the message is there.
The message is there, and the community is unbelievable. Yeah. So
but the community is a reflection of you guys.
I think I appreciate that. I appreciate that. But here's what I think. I think the community is more a reflection of people want more in life than hate, mayhem, discontent. Yeah. So they're starting to look for it. We just happen to have a voice now.
Yeah.
Which is what I encourage a lot of people. Have a voice, man. Use social media, use podcasts, and get your voice out there, because in these stories, somebody somewhere needs to hear your story. Mm-hmm. It may only be your story to you, and you may not think you're that important in the world, but your story will make the difference for somebody else.
Yeah. Well, and there's always going to be somebody that is your people. Right?
Always.
Yeah. And that's why there is space for everybody, because there's always going to be your people. Right.
Yeah.
And we attract who we are. So, you know, in that community that he's talking about, like the message that they're putting out there and who they are as a people, they're attracting those people. I mean, he's even said that, I don't know if we were on camera or off, but you said that the people in your community, you just said that.
Yeah.
So the people in your community, like they come in knowing that the other people in the community
it creates expectations.
Yes, yeah. Right.
It's easy to make excuses if you're around other people that always make excuses.
Mm. Yeah.
But like if I show up for Rachel, like I better be ready to work.
Yeah.
Or I'm gonna look silly because I know you're gonna outwork me. You know what I mean? Like it's just, which is why we get along. And why Garrett and I have gotten along so well is that we're not just showing up, punching in, and riding through the tides of life. Like we're out trying to create the lives we truly want to live. Yep,
100%. All right, tell everybody where they can find you.
Oh my goodness. I don't feel like it's hard to find me. So Instagram, LinkedIn, if you're into the business connections, I'm on there. Facebook, I have Team Hardy on Facebook, the On Purpose Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. You can find the book on Amazon, but if you buy it, please give me a review on there. That helps me a ton.
Okay.
And just, if I can help any of you in any way, please reach out to us.
Well, what's your handle on Instagram?
Jerrod H.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's no underscore or anything like that?
No.
It's just Jerrod H.
Yeah. I must have got in like at the very beginning or something.
Wow.
Yeah, Jerrod H on Instagram. Then I have the Team Hardy on Facebook. And then we have the On Purpose Podcast on both Facebook and Instagram.
Okay, good. I just wanted to clarify that because sometimes it is sometimes harder to find people because there's a lot of handles out there.
Yeah, and I know branding wise, I should probably have everything the same, but I'm just I'm not perfect, right? I'm not perfect in my social media content.
And we're also gonna tag everything on the podcast, so
awesome.
You'll be able to find them. All right, thanks, Jerrod. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you so much, and let's get after it out there. Life's too short to be sitting back and waiting for the perfect time.
Absolutely. Thank you for listening to the Break Free Podcast by Fitness Festival Events. You can find our website at fitnessfestivalevents.com, where you can learn more about the events we have coming up, our Break Free community, and much more. For Instagram and Facebook, find us at Fitness Festival Events, or for our community, Break Free Community. For Rachel, you can find her on Instagram at rachel.pastor. And email rachel@fitnessfestivalevents.com.